do believe. Wait, oh, but you can't hear it. I'm just jamming all by myself. I need to... Okay, one more thing. This? No. This? Perfect. There we go. Yes, it is working. Yeah. Is the volume okay? Oh boy, this is gonna be funny. Oh no, Michael isn't working. Yeah, the game is loud for me as well. But it's not working. Just restart, mix it up. Okay. Let's see. Restarting it. Hello. Good morning. It's definitely not morning. But hello. I hope you guys are doing well. Sorry, I'm just setting stuff up still. I just decided that I just don't like starting soon screens. I just don't like them. So I'm just not gonna have them. Okay, let's try this. It doesn't work! Wait, did it? Did you hear that in the background? Oh wait. Oh, I need to refresh it. Okay. Oh wow, there's so many hoops I have to jump through. Refresh. The refresh. Okay. And now. Yippee! Hell yeah. What are they doing? Oi, what's happening? Oh, thank you for the subscription.
MEMA 73
Hello, Raven. Yeah, nothing like starting now to kickstart the day. Oh man, there's like hair stuck on my pants. Can you believe it? I'm actually wearing pants. Okay. I did not get the option to make this game less loud than it is now, so I'm gonna just like start and hope that there's a thingy that I can do. Wait. Yeah. Okay. What is happening? Oh, you're here. Oh my god, I thought the cats were doing that. Oh no, not that. Oi, 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 oi. Oi, that spooked me. What do you want? What are you doing? You're ruining the stream! How dare you! Oh, thank you. That's much better. Is that good?
Wait.
Huh?
Fuck.
Abba dabba, it is me. I am talking.
There you go. That should be good.
Thanks.
Hello, chat.
I am talking. Oh yes, you saw my playing this the other day. Oh yes. Oh man, I wish I had seen that. What was I doing yesterday? I don't remember. Oh, I played House Flipper. But hello everyone, how are you guys doing? This is gonna be a really interesting game. I thought oi, hop-san. I think it was the better that I played on stream. So here I am. And also yesterday I got a nice little message from somebody saying that, or asking when I'm gonna stream again, and it made me want to stream again. Like, the next day, so thank you. But hello. I hope you guys are doing well. This game is called, what was it called actually? My Voice Sue, wasn't it? Yeah, My Voice Sue. And I'm gonna be doing some really interesting voices. But I have to make the animal sounds myself. That's a little weird. Let's see. But it does sound kind of fun. Alright. Let's make this slightly less loud. Actually a lot, because it's quite loud actually. Hello, Crysanti! Hello! You're really impressionable. I am, I suppose so. Wait, shouldn't I have this like... No... Wait. For some reason it looks worse now. Anyway, oh, it's probably because my screen is actually big. I don't know, but either way, hello. I'm happy that you guys like seeing me and stuff. I don't know. I just haven't been feeling like going live. I've been just kind of like playing games by myself and stuff. But I mean, if people miss me, then I'll gladly do more streams and stuff. Maybe I will. But I don't know. Do you guys know about this game? Basically, you make the animals do sounds, pretty much. Oh! Diligent zookeeper. Wearing this costume makes all animals use their recorded cries as they are. Oh dear. Oh, this is gonna be very interesting. Cat cries. Interesting. But yes. I don't actually know very much. Oh, okay. So I just adopt the thingy. Oh dear. I'm so nervous. This is gonna be crazy. What kind of sounds am I'm gonna embarrass myself on stream. That's okay. That's okay. Don't I do that every stream? Thank you for the watch streak as well. I'm honestly so impressed that anyone is able to have a watch streak. But let's see. Okay, we have a duck. Oh dear. Oh my god, what do I do? Oh god, this is gonna... now I have to think of names. Let me think. What would this guy looks like, Duckward. Ducksworth. Mr. Ducksworth. Mr. Ducksworth. Okay. System settings. My voice uses your default Windows microphone. Use your system settings. Okay, let me see actually. I'm pretty sure my system is kind of fucked and the default isn't what it should be. So, wait, where do I even do this? Okay, sound. Output. Okay, output. Wouldn't it be... Let's see. This one. Haba, haba. Oh no, that's not... Oh, I think I broke something. Oh shit, I broke something. Oh shit. Should I restart? I think I should probably restart. I'm just gonna restart real quick. I sure did. Wait, but this one says out. Oh, whoops. No, input. Whoops, I misunderstood input and output. No, it's okay. I think this is okay. It is this one though, right? What? This device is currently in use. Audio application issues. Is this a...
Yes. Just click not used as default. Change that to set as default.
Okay. Ah! Okay, it does look like it's this one.
Yeah.
So...
What is your output?
I'm gonna test. What?
Play.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, I think it's because your output is fucked.
Oh shit.
So go back to your outputs.
Okay.
Sound, and then instead of voice, you have to change it to game.
Oh, this one.
Yes,
Oops,
that one. And
oops.
then that one. Just click set as default.
Set as default.
And then also for communication.
What?
Click on the same one.
This thing?
Yes. Also use as default as communication.
Okay.
There you go.
Does it work?
Now it should work.
Okay, test it. Oi, 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 hopsan. What?
Even I heard it.
Oh
It
yeah,
came out
I
on
heard it from
screen.
your thing. Okay, and then now this one should work. Start
You can change that one to communication as well.
communications, okay?
Yes.
Oh, so hello, invert. I'm sorry, I'm not looking at who redeemed what yet.
Now you're good.
What? I want to test it. Perfect. Oh wow, that works perfectly. Did you hear it twice?
I did.
That's great. Oh yes, it does. It did only like whisper to the left, so that's.
I think your sound card actually has like this is the left channel, this is the right channel.
What?
So, but it fixes it in OBS. It's alright.
Okay. Does it? Do you think it'll fix it in the game as well?
Yes.
Okay, I'll trust you.
Yeah, I mean you recorded mono, so it's fine.
Uh-huh. Mono.
Mono.
Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
Okay,
Ba-ga-da-ba-da-ba-da.
bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Oh, what has happened? What has happened? Why do I have so much money now? Oi, wrong one. Okay. What do you mean re-record? I didn't even get to record it once! God damn it. God damn it. Okay, fine, whatever. Okay. Let me think. I kind of want to do I kind of want to do like a turkey sound. Cuz I just like turkeys. Okay. Okay. I'll try my best. Oh god. That's terrible. Oh, this is gonna be a terrible game. Oh god. Oh my god. Can I like go look? I can't deal with this. Oh my god. Oh god. But can I get like more? Oh, I can.
Oh, voice too.
Hello.
That's our fever dream of our game.
Oh goodness. Hello Gazzo. Also, hello Tommy, who's underneath the desk. Hello. Hello Tommy. Hello. Oh, you're so handsome. Handsome boy. Anyway, hello, sack of shit. nice to see you. I'm excited. I will unlock all the animals, and it's gonna be so nice. It's gonna be so nice. Oh, thank you for the watch streak as well. Also, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. Okay, let's see. What is this? Oh God. Well, man, I have to like think of a name for all of these animals. Damn. Well, Sean the sheep. Yeah. Woolly Willy. Oh yes. What if I just call it Willy? That's a cute name. Willy. Just do the first thing they make you think of. Just like a sheep. Because it looks like a sheep. Okay, let me think of... Okay, what shall I make this animal sound like? Okay, let's see. What kind of sound does a sheep make? I'm trying to think of that. I mean, it just goes... Okay. This just feels so stupid! This feels so dumb. I don't... Okay, I'm just gonna get it over with. I'm just gonna get it over with. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Oh God. I love that it gets cut off. I love that it gets freaking cut off like. Sure. It's great. Oh God, I can't be in here. What the hell? Okay. Oh shit, well now this is a goat. God. Oh. I like it being cut off a lot. It's kind of funny. It is kind of funny. Oh yeah, goats do scream. Well, this one looks like Gibby. Gibby after Jibby. Yeah. Brace yourselves, chat. That's terrible. I don't even Oh God, what have I done? What? Oh God. Oh God. This is terrible. Oh man. What if this looks like a moose. What kind of sound does a moose make? Kids stop believing and boom, suddenly unemployed. It's probably a reindeer.
You want to know what a moose sounds like?
Yeah.
So, a male moose sounds like.
Okay, I'll do that.
Like I'm not even kidding. Just like.
Well, it's a reindeer, so it's completely different.
Ah, well.
I mean, it's a bit daddy.
Hey, Petteri P.
well, it would be Petteri Punakuono, but he doesn't have a red nose, so that's also the sound bacon makes when making love, coincidentally.
Yes.
That's funny. Thank you for the watch streak. Thank you. Okay. Petteri Kuono. He's just gonna be Rudolph the nose. Rudolph the nose. Okay.
What are you gonna make now?
Oh.
Leave. Okay.
Well, now you ruined it.
Leave. Okay.
Well, now. That's so stupid. Okay, let's try this again. Okay. Oh boy, this is terrible. Oh my god, one of the voices is just you two having a row. That's funny. This is perfect. Oh my god. Okay. I don't even I'm scared to unlock these. I'm scared to unlock these. This looks like you know, a bear, so okay, polar bear. I'm gonna name this after Teddy Kura. This is probably going to be, I hope this is not gonna be very insulting. Oh god. Is this a horrible mistake? Am I going to sever ties forever? I'm gonna... Oh really? Mine chose it as well. Okay, I'm gonna, well, do you remember what Teddy sounded like? I was just thinking about doing a bear sound. Okay, I'm gonna try my best. What the fuck does a bear sound like? Oh god, this was a mistake. This was a mistake. Okay, I'm gonna channel my inner bear, and I'm gonna go. Oh my god, I'm afraid to click the record. Oh! Okay, that's not how I fucking. I was trying to like. Oh. Oh! It sounds like a moan. It sounds like a freaking moan. Oh my god. Okay, sure. Oh! Oh my god!
35 month of shits and giggles. What are you doing?
What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh god! What have I done? What have... Wow. Wow. This is a horrible zoo. No one would want to come here. Oh god. The eye zone is deeply moan focused. Mini Mally, how dare you call me that, Longero? How dare you? This zoo rakes in the money. You think so? Okay, what is this? A fox. Oh, I know exactly what kind of sound this guy is gonna make. Oh my god. I just remembered like my first gamer tag out of nowhere. I used to play on like this I think it was called Pocket Legends. It was on like the iPad, and my first gamer tag was like "Get Tully." Bless you. my first gamer tag was like "Get Tully." Like it just means like foxy. This guy looks like I don't know, he has a Bill vibe, you know? Bill Kettuli. Kettuli. Pocket Legends, that's what they said. What does the fuck say? It looks like it says that. It looks like it says that. Does it not? What the fuck was that? Oh my god. This is
Wait a second. Since this is made in Unity, I need to test a thing.
Okay, what are you doing?
Wait for it.
Oh, you can.
No, wait. Okay. Does it work?
Yes, that is horrible. That's horrible.
The
Thank you.
Doppler effect.
That's horrible. Thank you. Oh my god. This is horrible. This is horrible. We can afford a really expensive animal now. Damn. Ooh. Ooh, we can almost afford an elephant. Oh, we can afford an elephant. Hello, Sarraika. What are you? What am I doing? I don't even know. I wish I could tell you. This is terrible. This is terrible. But I'm gonna make an. Oh, look at that guy. He looks like he's having a crisis. He looks like he's. Are you ready? Are you guys ready for this one? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. What's a very elephanty name? I don't know. Leslie. This guy is called Leslie. Oh, Benjamin is also a very elephanty name for some reason. 15 streams! Damn, I'm honestly impressed. You missed me! Oh, you make me blush, you. I've kind of been streaming like once every other week kind of almost thing. I don't remember exactly, but I've been streaming kind of rarely now. But hello Spiral, hello. You know what, I will name it Dumbo. Okay. Okay, this game is gonna get my voice acting ability recognized, and I will be I will be the next big thing. Trust me, guys. Okay. That's terrible. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't deal with the fucking. I can't deal with the fucking bear. What kind of bear sound is that? What kind of bear sound is that? That's no bear. Oh god, what am I doing? What is this? Okay, we got a penguin. Okay. Moan zone. Please don't, Sanaka, please don't have a heart attack. Please. That would be very bad. Oh, hello.
I've laughed myself to a headache.
Oh. It is pretty funny. It is pretty funny, though. Wait, what exactly did you mean? I'm severely lacking D. Oh, I'm vitamin D deficient. Why? What did you think? Why? What did you think about that? I'm gonna take a sip of my drink. Thank goodness Bacon actually got me water before this stream. Okay, what kind of... I don't really know what kind of sound a penguin does. Peglin. No, that's a game. Pegging. That's not a name. Peg. This guy is a seagull. What does a seagull sound like? Squeakier seagull. Make a sound like what he looks like. Huh. Surely, is it like? Okay. But how do I make it squeakier? It sounds like it's dying. That's perfect. This is the worst zoo ever. This is the worst fucking zoo ever. Oh god. Oh wait, now I can afford these things. Oh well, only this thing. Duck enthusiast. Wait, so oh. Oh god. Oh my god. What do you mean it brings back memories to my mom? How dare you say that? What the hell? Oh my god. The goat is a little unique. Let's just say unique. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's a flamingo. Okay. Okay, a flamingo. I love flamingos. Did you guys know I love flamingos? What the goat as your alarm sound? Oh god. Oh god. Okay, let's see. This guy looks like a pinky. Ponky. Pomky. Sure. Whatever. Sure. They are great creatures. Yes. They are, aren't they? I like them. I actually have a flamingo lamp in the background. Yeah. What if I do Michael Jackson imitation. Yeah. No, that's terrible. That's awful. That's awful. Yeah. That's terrible. That's terrible. Oh my god. You know what? I kind of want to do one of those. Okay, let me try one of those. Ow! That's so stupid. Oh, I'm sorry. I changed it already. I'm sorry. Ow! What was the other one? Okay, I'm gonna see. What is this one? Okay. That's not the one. Ow! Okay. Okay, that one is. Yeah. Yeah. This is terrible. You know what? It's not gonna get any better. This is all just like a fever dream. I like the first part. So ooh, it's a lion. Oh, you guys ready for another scream? Just Han? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? This guy looks so funny. It looks like Yuku. I'm gonna make this guy Yuku. Do a mouse roar for the lion. What if I do a really posh one? Oh, I know exactly what you mean. Saraka. Roar. 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 It's perfect. Oh my god. Oh my god. I can't even like deal with this. Like this is just it's just outrageous. Hello. Roar. I forgot. Roar. Yeah. This is terrible. This is the worst ever zoo ever. This is the worst zoo. What is this place? I wonder if I guess there's gonna be an animal in here as well. This is awful. This is the worst zoo ever. I keep forgetting about that guy. Oh, this guy. I know what kind of sound this guy makes. I don't know what would this. Well, what is this guy's name? Oh goodness. Oh, thank you so much for the 7.
Yay,
Oh my god, I can't believe it's been so long. 7 months. Yeah, that is a sassy owl, and a sassy owl needs a sassy sound, don't you know? Goodness, hiccupy. But hello, Chuck. What is this guy's name? I guess Albert is a good name. Albert is a wonderful name. Hurt. Hurt. Oh my god. Yeah. I need to get away from the fucking goat. Oh, one of them. I should make one of them go perkele. Don't mind the chicken. Mini Lami put the 16 dyslexic. Did I? Did I misread something? Oh no. What is this? Oh, I think it's a tiger. Tiger. What about 1 yarn and you think it could swallow a car? Oh, Owlbert. Oh my god, whoops. Oh well. Well, screw that guy then, I guess. What is this? This is a map. Oh, never mind. I thought that was a map. Interesting. Oh, interesting. Oh. Oh. Okay, sure. Rakala lapsela montanime. Oi. Thank you so much for the bits. Ooh. Oh yes. Let's see. This is going to be very interesting. How do I? Oh. What? Do I have to like bring them? I guess I have to. Okay, I'm taking you. Come on with me. Here you go. There you go. Come on. This is bad. This is bad. This is not good. I think this one is gonna be real interesting. Yeah. And this guy. This guy. Okay, what else? Do I have like Chuck, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. This is not gonna be good. This is gonna be awful. This is gonna be so awful. I think okay. We don't know what's gonna happen. The fabric of reality might just collapse, but just maybe lower the volume. Okay, you have to leave. Go away. This is awful. This is awful. This is terrible. This is horrible. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh, thank you. I feel so happy. Thank you. I'll try my best to stream more often then. I'll try my best. Okay, what is this? Eagle. That's a whole ass mating call, honestly. What's this guy's name? This guy looks like a Ron. I don't know why, but he just looks like a Ron. What kind of sound does a eagle make? How do I even make an eagle sound? Just sounds like that every Monday morning in my head when the alarm goes off. Oh, freedom! You're right! Ron America. Ron America. This is terrible. Hello! Hello indeed. I'm trying to think. is gonna be terrible. Freedom! Freedom! Now this. Freedom! This bear needs to fuck off. This is awful. This is awful. Oh my god. What have I created? What is this? You know what? Let's buy. Okay. Let's take Bill. Let's take Bill here.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Freedom! Okay, thank you. Freedom! Hurt.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up, Bumpky. You know what? Maybe we can put you there.
Yeah.
Freedom! Hurt. This is a horrible game. I hate it. I hate every second of it. Oh my god. Okay, what is this thing? Oh, it's a parrot. It's a I was trying to do listen, guys, I was trying to do a Michael Jackson impression, but it didn't turn out so well. Oh, Gilbert Godfrey. What is Godfrey? Gilbert sounds like a wonderful name. Gilbert. Fuck your mom. Parrots can practically say anything. Probably not that though. Fuck your mom. What the? Oh, this is. Fuck your mom. Fuck your mom. Fuck your mom.
Yeah.
Freedom! Fuck your mom. Hurt. This is terrible. We need to evict the freaking goat. Okay, what is this? A walrus! Oh my god. Wow, I can't believe you hit me right directly in my boobies. Oh, this is so cute. I love this. Freedom to fuck your mom. Oh no. Oh no. Fuck your mom? Question. Now that is the Homer Simpson of walruses. You think so? What would this guy's name be? No, not on my throat. Look at his face. It does look kind of like Homer. You know what? We'll just name it Homer as well. Homer. I'm gonna try to do like a long walrusy sound. I can't remember what walruses sound like. That's the. This is. It just sounds like someone saying whore. Sure, whatever. Okay, Gibby. I even doing anymore? This takes so much to unlock. Oh my god. Oh god. This is my life. This is what I've done. This is... Thank you. I hate that I named it. I hate that I named this Teddy because it doesn't sound like Teddy. Oh god. I'm not too good to say that. Oh god. This is terrible. Cute in cartoons, but reality is not so cuddly. What is this? What is this? These guys look like bears. Okay, I'm gonna get this one. Oh, it's a bear! Oh my god, I'm gonna name this Lib. Okay, what kind of sound would Lib make? Something about pee. Go. Ah. That's a unit, definitely. Liberty. There you go. There you go. This is terrible. I'm ruining friendships. I'm ruining friendships. Doing this is gonna leave me without any friends in the end. Everyone's gonna get mad at me and they're gonna leave. Okay, let me try I'll try my best to do a bear noise a bit better than the attempt I made with Teddy. Okay. Okay, maybe volume, lower the volume again. I'll try to go a little further away. Okay, I need to like channel my lower voice roar for this. It's terrible because I'm just giggling to halfway. Sure, whatever. Hello. This is I don't even know. What is the bear joking on? Oh my god. That one is way worse. That one is way worse. Yeah, I'm trying out for a metal band. That's probably it. Yeah, that's probably true, Gazo. If I think about it. Oh, thank you for the subscription. Thank you. I keep forgetting to make it not say all that. Kolme 7 HUEP. Kolme 7. The first pair sounds like Tarzan York in it. Oh no. Oh no. This one, what does this guy sound look like? Any name suggestions? Anyone? Any name suggestions? Oh wow! A freaking hype train. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Hornold. That's good. Hornold. Horny. Horny. Hornold. Oh, they have cute voices? Really? Sniffing sounds? Huh. Is that terrible? It's awful. I have to like quickly buy the animals so I don't hear the ones that I already made. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. And I have to make more every time I do this. I make another monstrosity every time. It's my ex-girlfriend. Jesus Christ. I'm in my own personal hell. That is true. Only a mother could love those animals. Oh god. This guy looks so chill. This guy looks so chill. Chilippo. This is a terrible name. This is a stupid name. His face does look like a butt. That is true. What if he makes a fart sound? What if I make a fart sound? Sure. He's so proud of it. Oh my god. Oh, I almost sneezed. Yeah. Okay, I know what to do. Excuse me. Excuse me. Do it. Excuse me. That guy's not even sorry about it though. I feel uncomfortable with this guy actually. I don't feel comfortable around that guy. Okay, next animal. Excuse me. Next animal. Gorilla, okay. Oh yes. Don't worry, you won't regret baby. Oh, look at that. That's a proud gorilla. Retonto monkey. What kind of name would a gorilla have? I can think of one, but I don't know. I was just about to say. Maybe some other. Yeah, this guy did miss freaking leg day. Remember, it's a gorilla, not a monkey. What kind of? But aren't gorillas kind of like quiet though? Like, do they even do anything? Do they make noises? They're apes. I mean, okay, but what do they make any sounds? George. Wow, that's a nice name. George. Wow. Very peaceful and thoughtful. They fling shit at the max speed. Max speed, I bet. Kink conk. They don't make chimp noises is what I mean. You know what? I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna cheat a little. I'm gonna see. Hey, stop that. Stop that. I'm gonna cheat. Gorilla sound. Gorilla sound. Well, I mean, that's a monkey sound. How the fuck do you even do that? I just. This is. This is terrible. This is terrible. How do you even make that sound? You can't. He's. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. Okay. Okay, let's just I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Next animal! Yippee! Oh my god, look at this one. Look at that animal! Look at this! This doesn't have a single thought in its head. This one would have been way better as Kyuku though. I didn't need my hair anyways. Yeah, Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger. Okay, He has one brain cell left, but he forgot about it. Oh my god. Honestly though. Now imagine someone don't liking their own voice doing this. Yeah, the thing is, I kind of... I don't know how they would survive. I think... I feel like constant re-recording. I also don't like my voice very much, but I just... You know... I've kind of decided that, you know what, I'm gonna give myself maximum 3 tries. Because if I keep doing it over and over, I'm gonna overthink it. You think I have a cute voice? Considering everything that you've heard, you think I have a cute voice. It just might not lend itself well to animal voices. You think... Oh my god. Oh my god. I heard that half because of the ad. Oh, sorry. What was I saying? You said, now imagine someone don't liking... Yeah, if somebody didn't like their own voice doing this, they would probably re-record like super many times. I also don't like my voice very much, but like if I keep re-recording it, it'll take forever. You know what? It is tuhmatikeri. Tuhmatikeri. But what kind of sound do you make? What kind of sound do you make? Would you guys like to request sounds? Because I will gladly try my best. You think I have a nice voice? Thank you. I just like, okay, the funny thing about my voice, goodness, the funny thing about my voice is that the more excited I get, the higher my voice goes. Like, I'll be like, my normal talking voice is just like I don't know, like this, usually, you know, just normal. But because streaming usually makes me happy, it just kind of like keeps like climbing up. It is way lower, but I can't like, it's really difficult to like go back to the normal voice if I'm already excited. Now I'm exposing myself and I'm saying that I get excited During streams. No, but it's hard to go low. Like, it's hard to... It's so weird. I can't really regulate my voice very much in the sense of like talking pitch. It's weird. I'm not sure. I will leave it up to your imagination. You sure about that? Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. It wasn't the tiger sound, but it was what I imagined Duma Tigri sounds like. What is this thing? Oh, it's a dog! Dog. It looks like Tattoo. 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 More accurate. That's why I thought, because your name is Naughty Tiger. It was more like a puffer fish. Oh my god. Oh, that emote gives me gives me the energy I need. Oh my god. The name of oh god. Well, can I go in here? No. Wait, oh, I should have gotten this thing. This one is... Let me see. Okay, let's do another one. What is... Oh, it's a sloth. What was that called? This is awful. This is terrible. It's terrible because I laugh in like every one of these recordings. I can't stop laughing in these recordings. It's terrible. Okay, let's bring Teddy back to her. Yeah. 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 Okay. I don't even I don't even know. I don't even know, man. What am I even doing? What am I even doing? Okay, you guys are all free.
Hurt.
This one is fucked up.
Fuck your mom. Hurt.
Freedom!
Yeah, mom. Hurt.
Freedom!
Yeah, mom.
Freedom! Wow. Don't you... Isn't nature beautiful? Isn't nature beautiful? Ah. It really is, isn't it? Oh, this one looks so cute. What is this one's name? It's a sloth. Slutty. The sloth. It does give stoner vibes. I'm very... It's just very difficult to consider what kind of sound would this... Hey, oh, I got weed. Okay, I'll do that. You got any weed on you? 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 Oh my god. You got any weed on you? What kind of... Oh, is this... Oh, it's a panda! Oh, that's so cute! Well, this is clearly Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! It's so stupid. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! Oh god. Oh god. This is... I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! This is terrible. I don't
Yeah. Your mom?
Yeah.
Your mom?
Oh yeah, this guy. Oh. Ooh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Then we have these guys. What? Oh my god. Oh god. You got any weed on you? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! You got any weed on you? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! You got any weed on you? I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! Oh god, let's make it stop. Oh, it's a frog! Look at this thing! It looks so... It doesn't look like it knows it's alive. Kermit. Just Kermit. Whatever. I'm not gonna be creative with the names. Ribbit. 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 That one is actually... I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! That one is cute! I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu! Ribbit. Yeah, it's wholesome. Okay, let's see. Let's see what this... Beat the shit out. Shut up, Kung Fu Panda! Let's try out something. Okay. Cool. Ribbit. Ribbit. This is terrible. This is awful. I'm glad you enjoy it, Jake. I'm traumatized. I'm sorry. Wait until you hear the polar. Nature is beautiful. Nature is beautiful. Is this a cat? It's definitely a cat. I'm gonna get the cat. God.
Your mom.
Oh God. Okay, this re-record, I just noticed. This cat re-record was 1,000. Jesus. Yeah, the dog is going pow 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 pow. That's a dog sound. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Dr. Orpheus. That's so nice of you to say. I hope you have a nice time. Yeah. Of course, cat. I love the kitty. Hello. What kind of sound should I make for the kitty?
You want me to make a sound?
Oh yeah, you should make a sound.
Okay.
Bacon.
No, not bacon.
Aw.
Just name in, like, I don't know, fucking kitty.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Okay.
You want me to make it and sound like Tommy?
Well, you can sound however you want. You ready?
Okay, yeah.
You have one try. You ready?
I'm fucking Tommy. Holy shit.
Deep as possible, says JK.
Well, I mean, it kind of did that.
I'm fucking Tommy. Holy shit.
Classic Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm fucking Tommy.
Your mom.
Huh?
I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah.
Your mom.
I'm fucking Tommy. Holy shit.
Your mom.
The blanket, but I stole him.
Tommy. Oh, kitty. Okay, now we can get a new area. Oh, not a camp.
I just looked to the left and you have a fucking, like, a paused YouTube video called Gorilla Sounds.
I mean, what do you want from me?
I mean, I understand that this is, you know,
Okay.
you're trying to do research, but it's just so funny.
Oh, do I have to? Ugh. It's a pain in the ass to have to bring the animals there, but I know exactly which one I'll do. Come on here, Dumbo. Oh, do I have to? Oh, okay. Let's just bring a couple in here. You go over there. Can I like summon them like this? I wish I could.
Wait on you.
Sure, I'll take the the tiger. Oh. Oh my god. I really want to know what this sounds like. Oh god. Oh god.
I'm fucking Tommy. Holy shit.
Oh, Hopsan.
I'm fucking Tommy. Holy
Get out of here, Gibby. Out of here. Get out of here. Oh my god. Oh god. That's horrifying. Okay, I can have like Oh my god, this is a snail. Interesting. Oh my god, is this a hamster? Oh my god. Oh dear. What is this? Runs and runs as if it's the only answer. It's Gary. It does look like Gary. I'm gonna wait for this one. Milk cow. Yeah, let's go Milky. Milky. Okay. Moo. 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 That's what a cow.
Yeah, mom.
Fuck your mom. Oh my god. I'm gonna beat you. Oh my god. Weed on you. Weed on you. Raw. Ribbit. Let's try this.
Ribbit.
Oh my god.
Ribbit.
Kung Fu Panda.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu.
I wonder what all the all the bears would be like together. Let's bring you guys in the.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu.
Ah yes.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu.
Oh god.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with
Weed on you. I got any weed on you. Oh, it's a turtle, isn't it? It looks like a turtle. Let's do. Oh, it's a bunny. It looks like my pupuna. My pupuna. I know exactly what to do on this one. My hi! My hi! My hi! My hi! It's perfect.
beat the shit out of you with Kung Fu.
Okay, thank you, Kung Fu Panda. Oh, it's so beautiful. My Oh my god.
Yeah, mom. Yeah, mom. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a. Oh, not that one. I wanted the. I want this one. And then I also want. Ooh, I can. Oh god, this is terrible. Okay, go on here. Oi. Oi. Should I make one of the animals go voi vittu? My hi! god. Oh god. Oh god. One of them has to have you saying perkele. Okay, I will do that. Oh, everything is so expensive. Okay, I'm gonna take this guy in here. Let's see what this does. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's just my Oh my god. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Okay, okay. Totel! Oh my god. It's play toys. Okay. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. Oh wait. You're absolutely right. It should be the turtle sex noise instead. Okay, I'll do that one instead. Don't worry about what I was gonna do. Don't worry about it. No, that I can't. I gotta drink. I'll try it again. I have to channel my authentic turtle sex. I can't do it! Ah! I can't do it! Okay, that's better. Okay. Do I want to know why you know how that sounds like? Don't worry about it. I'm gonna try one more time. My high. Okay, what is this? It's a horse. Okay, this one is horse. I will horns. Okay. Now we will do the first thing that I was planning on doing. Perkele vittu saatana! This is a very aggressive horse, you know. Oh god, what have I done? Perkele vittu saatana! You got any weed on you?
Perkele vittu saatana!
Oh my god. Perkele vittu saatana!
Perkele vittu saatana! Perkele vittu
Okay, goat. Thank you so much. Oh my god. I have 2 animals left to buy. Okay, I know what this kind of animal sounds like. Empty. Empty. Remember to breathe. Yes, don't worry. Okay, okay. He's single-handedly driving down the property values. Next year you can buy the whole town for 2 sandwiches and a Coke. Oh my god. Yeah, you know, Gazo, I really should remember that, huh? Oh my god. A real hamster noise. This is... Okay, let me see. Hamster. Hamster sounds. What even is this? Okay, fine.
I just heard it and I went. I'm not just thinking of it. Okay, you ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Perfect.
Oh my god.
Fuck your mom. Fuck your mom.
Stay back from the goat. I'm so sorry.
Fuck your mom.
Oh god. Oh god. I don't even...
Shadow you with kung fu! Satana! I'm gonna beat the shit out of you! Satana!
Oh, this is... okay, this is a zoo.
You got any weed on you?
Okay. Let me just keep you in the corner, okay? I'll just keep him in the... you stay there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. Oh my goodness. What is this? Oh, hello. Tuku has come to say hello. Hello, Tuku. Hello. Hello. Tuku. Hello, Tuku. Okay. Gary. Or is it with 2 R's? I'm not sure. Sure, Gary. Oh yeah, Gary does go meow. How does Gary go meow? Just... meow. I don't know. Let's see. Gary. Meow. It is with 1. Oh god, what is this one?
Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow. I can definitely do Gary. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow.
Saatana!
Yeah. This is like an alarm sound here. Oh, but let's put this on. Oh wait, I didn't put it on. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is... What a beautiful zoo. Can we do the hamster one? Oh, we have... Oh, okay. We have the cat one and the frog one. What is this one? This one is just... Oh my god. Oh my god, this is... Ribbit. Okay, okay, what does... Oh.
I'm fucking Tommy, holy shit. I'm fucking holy shit. I'm fucking Tommy, holy shit. I'm fucking Tommy, holy shit. I'm fucking Tommy, holy fucking Tommy,
I wanna hear this again. Oh my god! Let's bring them all in here! Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god, oh god. Oh my god. What about this? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh wait, it's this thing. Oh, wait. Okay, so what was they sing in groups of 2 on the left and 3 on the right. Keep the order. New phone alarm sound. Yes, this is beautiful. This is perfect. Oh, I wish I could do it with the hamster. Oh. I kind of want more things in there. I want more. You know what? Let's do this. This is easier. This is easier if I do this. There you go. Oh my god, this is terrible. I'm gonna like faint from laughing. Jesus. Okay, this is all fine. Let's just see what it sounds like without. What about the cat? Oh my gosh. I think I've unlocked everything in the game now. Oh god. I feel so lightheaded. This calls for cover version of Eurythmics' Sweet Dreams with lyrics like nightmares are made of this. Whoever dared to disagree. Oh, is that how the original goes? Like who? I thought it was who am I to disagree, or is it? No, it's probably is like that. I wish there was an outfit for every single animal so I could just like know what they sound like. Goodness. Okay. Yes, let's
Tommy, holy shit. I'm fucking Tommy.
Let's see.
Holy shit. I'm fucking
like
Tommy.
this.
I'm fucking
like
Tommy.
that.
Holy shit.
There you go, and then we do the normal outfit. And oh wow, that sounds great. Yeah, I changed the wording. Original goes, who am I to disagree? Oh wow, I can't believe I actually knew that. Who am I to disagree? We traveled the world somewhere. Bah, bah, bah. I have an idea. I have an idea here. It's a bad idea, but it is an idea. Let's see. This one I will re-record because it's pretty basic. So this is gonna be like the most uncomfortable thing in the world if I put the outfit on, but I just want to experience how this would be, you know? Just an experiment. You know, this is a social experiment. Okay, this is a social experiment. Oh god. Oh god, I'm so uncomfortable. Oh god. Oh god. Oh. Oh. Oh god. Oh god. Oh, this is so uncomfortable. Oh god, it's so uncomfortable. It's horrible. Hello, Tyuku. Okay, let's see. Oh, I can't. I love the one I did for my Okay, okay, okay. Cool. This is great. This is great. I wanna do this one again. This is like, you know, this is pretty much how it sounds like in my brain without my meds. If I haven't taken my meds, this is what it sounds like, pretty much. Like, just a constant state of this. It is a constant state. Well, that wasn't very exciting. I think at the end of the day, the best is the original sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, let's bring them all together. I'm sure this is a good idea. This is definitely a good idea. Oh, I'm cringing at this. This is terrible. This is the worst idea I've ever had. This is the worst possible thing to have happened. This is this. This is how it is in my head all the time. This is how it is. That's just how it is. At a constant state. Hello, Kyuko. My cats are like wondering. Oh my god. I don't even. Oh god, this is gonna be so fucking loud. If you're not sick of my voice before the stream, you definitely will be after it. After this stream is over, you're gonna be so sick of my voice. You're gonna hope that you never hear my voice ever again. All together now. Oh, there's one more. It's just like silence. Silence everywhere. And then you go you go to this one cursed, god-forsaken place. This god-forsaken place. else hiding somewhere? I don't know how it was possible that everyone else was quiet for a moment, and then there's just like a one singular, "You got any weed on you?" Oh god. This is a nightmare come true. The cats are playing in the background.
Beat the shit out of him!
You know, I kind of want to do this whole thing again, except all the sounds are Michael Jackson sounds. Like imitations of Michael Jackson sounds. I think that sounds pretty cool. Though, I don't know if there is a quick way to, like, restart? Oh well, it's okay. Either way. I guess I'll just... It feels bad to just quit the game without saving, but I'm pretty sure... I'm pretty sure that... yeah. I don't even... yeah, I'm pretty sure that was all that I needed. I'm gonna go think about my life, I think. I think I'm gonna go and think about my life and what I just put out into the world. I gotta make it so no one can read me real quick. Although, I don't know, I kind of feel like just chatting or something. But I'm not sure. Actually, I'm kind of tired. But I think I will. What? I think I'm pondering and wondering. I would listen. I'd love to continue chatting, but I am kind of tired from all that. That was so funny, though. That was so funny. That was really funny. Okay, let me take a look. Oh, there's a special event that let me see. Oh, I think Glitter is having a subathon of some kind, a 4-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure I kind of passed my anniversary thing. I had it at some point, but I'm pretty sure I passed it, but that's probably fine. But yeah, let's raid Glitter. I don't think I've raided her many times before, so it's a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity. Oh god, I'm so tired now. I'm so tired now. I gotta tell you guys next time. I think I'll probably stream again tomorrow because I have a lot of stuff to yap about. I have a lot of stuff to yap about. So I think I will talk about some stuff next time. Maybe tomorrow or the other day or the other day after that or next week or next month. But you know, I'll show up eventually, like I always do. I show up eventually, and don't you worry, old grumpy German. I'm gonna take all the D, if you know what I mean. Vitamin D. Because I'm deficient in vitamin D. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you guys have a nice time, at Glitter's stream, and I wish I could have chatted more, but I'm really tired after that. It's kind of funny though. That was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed my terrible voices. I hope it was enjoyable. even through all the chaos, I hope it was fun. Goodness. Don't worry, I'll have a good rest. Yeah, 30 times at once. I'm so glad to hear that, Kelso. Okay, you guys have a good time. Good time at Glitter's stream. Glitter Star. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.